3,000 years ago, a warrior stood at the edge of the greatest battle of his life. His hands were shaking. His mind was spinning. He couldn't breathe. He was Arjuna, the greatest archer in the world, trained his entire life for this moment. And yet, he froze. Sound familiar? Millions of students right now are standing at their own battlefield. Exams, pressure, fear of failure, feeling the exact same thing Arjuna felt. Today, I want to share what Lord Krishna told him. 3 lessons from the Bhagavad Gita that will change how you face every exam. When the Mahabharata war was about to begin, Arjuna looked across the battlefield and saw his teachers, his cousins, people he loved. His hands dropped his bow. Tears fell from his eyes. He told Krishna, "I cannot do this. My mind is lost. I would rather die than fight." Before you say you're nothing like Arjuna, let me ask you something. Have you ever opened your exam paper and your mind went blank, even though you studied? Have you ever worked so hard and still asked, "Will I ever be good enough?" That is exactly what Arjuna felt. Confusion, self-doubt, paralysis. And what Krishna said next is one of the most powerful things ever spoken to a mind in crisis. Do your duty, release the result. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47. Karmanyavadhikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachan, ma karma phalaheturbhurma, tisangostva karmane. You have the right to perform your actions, but never to the fruits of your actions. This one line contains an entire philosophy of mental freedom. Here is the problem with how most students study. They study while worrying about marks. They write answers while calculating if it's enough. They finish the paper and immediately catastrophize about results. Their mind is never fully present, always split, half doing, half dreading. Krishna called this the root of all suffering, attachment to outcome. When Arjuna froze, it wasn't because the enemy was too strong. It was because his mind was already living in the future, imagining failure before the battle even began. Your exam anxiety works the exact same way. Walk into that exam hall and make the paper your only world. Not the marks, not your rank, not what your parents will say. Just this question, this pen, this page, right now. Students who focus on effort and release attachment to results almost always perform better. A calm, present mind always outperforms an anxious, scattered one. Train your inner stillness. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 56. Dukheshvanudvignamana, sukheshu vigataspryah, vitarag bhayakrodha, sthitadhir muniruchya. One who is not disturbed in mind amidst miseries, not elated by happiness, free from fear and anger, that person is a sage of steady mind. Krishna called this Sthitaprajna, steady wisdom. Think about students you know who handle pressure differently, not the ones who don't care, but the ones who care deeply and still remain calm. This is not a personality trait you're born with. It is a skill. It can be trained. High performers share one key trait. They respond to adversity, not react to it. A reaction is automatic. Panic, freeze, shut down. A response is conscious. Breathe, assess, act. When you find a question you don't know, the untrained mind spirals. You are not your result. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadache. Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano. The soul is unborn, eternal, ever existing. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. You are not your percentage. You are not your rank. You are not the number on that result sheet. So many students have tied their entire identity to their marks. When they score well, they feel worthy. When they score badly, they feel worthless. That is a painful way to live. You are a being of infinite potential who happens to be taking an exam. The exam is not you. The result is not you. When Arjuna stopped identifying with his fear and reconnected with his true self, his clarity returned, his hands steadied. He picked up his bow, not because the battlefield changed, but because he changed from inside. The Sthitaprajna mind simply says, move to the next, come back. 3,000 years ago, Krishna was teaching emotional regulation before we had words for it. Before every exam, sit in stillness for 2 minutes. Not reviewing notes, just breathing. You are training your inner flame to stop flickering. 3 lessons, 3,000 years old, written for you today. 1. Focus on your effort. Release the result. 2. Train your inner stillness. Respond, don't react. 3. You are not your result. You are so much more. Arjuna became a legend, not because he stopped being afraid, but because he chose to act despite the fear. Walk into that exam hall like Arjuna walked onto that battlefield. Not without fear, but bigger than your fear. If this gave you strength, share it with one student who needs it right now. Subscribe to MindRise Academy for more wisdom like this every week. I'll see you in the next one.